Basically, like you like bend over and just like hyperventilate.
Okay, breathe in.
Yeah, and then you just
Easy.
Oh,
He walked away like a pause.
and
Hey guys, what's going on? This is your boy Christian Israel, and you are tuned into the New Creation Capital Podcast, a place where we discuss what happens in the world today, where we talk about stories that focus on current events, the stock market, and digital assets. Where we go one, we go all, guys. This is a new you, a new future, and a new creation, guys. Happy Thursday. It is May 14th. This is episode 48. Thank you to everybody who was tuning in, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and of course the Anchor platform, where you can partner with us and support us and shoot me a message. Also, thank you to everybody who hits me up on New Creation Cap. It is early. I'm trying to do this podcast a little bit earlier right now, and I'm struggling, man. I want to make sure you guys get this news as early as possible. So let me know what you think. If you like it becoming a little earlier, a little in the afternoon. I normally release this around 11 to 12 Texas time. It is 8 a.m. right now. I'm trying to get this done a little earlier. So thank you to all you guys who are supporting me and let me know. Last night on YouTube, I did a live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. A lot of you guys joined the New Creation Cronies Telegram group. So shout out to that for sure. I really appreciate that. That group is growing. We are talking, and today we're going to talk XRP and some of the news and the partners in the news. So make sure you stick around because there's some big news coming out. I just did my research this morning and last night. I picked 3 stories last night to talk about today. Got up this morning, did a little bit of research, and there's 3 more stories. So we're going to talk 6 or 7 XRP related stories today. 100%, and the debt jubilee, which I'm sure by now some YouTubers have hit up since that came out last night. But we're going to talk about the debt jubilee today. So thank you so much, guys. For sure, thank you for the support on the live stream last night. I enjoy the people who hung out with me. I will continue to do that at least every Wednesday night, a live stream for now. And don't forget, in your Telegram group, if you join right here, be a crony, be a New Creation crony with me. Friday nights and Sunday nights, we do Zoom calls and we go over basic TA and some other analysis on some coins. So last night we talked altcoins, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. For those who want to get some more crypto information, I also publish this on PublishOX. This is a crypto-based website. When you click on one of my videos here or one of my podcasts, you can see both the audio and video as well as the links that I go over. If you're listening to this on a podcast like Apple Podcasts or something like that, the links are below so you can already get it. But if you're on YouTube, best way to do is pop up over here if you want to get there, okay? So let's dive in to see what's going on in the charts, because over the night we had a little bit of pump, not so much now, but when I went to sleep, we were at like 9,300. I think I went to sleep at midnight, and then I woke up this morning and I was like, did it really hit 9,900 last night? It did. It shot up. It's up 5.74% right now at 95.9627. ETH is up 4% at 202.12. And XRP is sitting at 20.3% up, or 20.3 cents, up 1.25%. So we got a little bit of pumping in the top 2. XRP is still holding its own. We all know, and we talked about this last night in the live stream, how XRP moves on its own. It is its own thing, and it's its own coin, or as Tony Vase say, it's its own Ripple token, right? So let's talk about the story and dive into the first story today. And Ripple sent out a tweet, and it goes like this: XRP's role in solving problems with cross-border payments is a perfect case that will drive growth, which is why BitTrue decided to make it the central asset of our exchange. Right here, we can see that BitTrue is the cryptocurrency exchange with 50 plus XRP pairs and the first exchange with XRP as a base pair. Famous for Power Piggy, offering the best APR investment rates globally. So this is a big deal, guys. If you don't know this, I don't think I've retweeted that. This is from yesterday, but let me go ahead and retweet that. So then we got an exchange that's based on XRP, not based on Bitcoin. So this is a big deal. This is a pretty big deal. All right, let's jump into the next story here. We have from the Daily Hold, or the HODL.com. It says XRP can replace cross-border Behemoth Swift says Ripple founder Chris Larsen. This is this morning. Ripple founder Chris Larsen says the San Francisco startup is positioning XRP to replace SWIFT, a legacy international payments network used by more than 11,000 banks and financial institutions. In a new interview on the Blockstars podcast, Larsen says, oh, by the way, if you haven't listened to that Blockstars podcast, it's David Schwartz does a great job. I really like it. They did 4 episodes right off the bat, and it sounds like they're going to release in groups of 4 like that. So that's a pretty awesome one. Anyway, he points to the risk of a 51% attack in which a miner or mining pool gains more than 50% of the network hash rate in order to rewrite the ledger and double spend prior transactions. As a reason, banks may find Bitcoin too easy for settlements. I agree 100%. Bitcoin will never be used as settlements. The miners can rewrite history. That's also another reason. So that's why I think you probably won't see proof of work models be guts of the global financial system to take the place of SWIFT and corresponding banking. For example, where I think the XRP ledger, I think, is already proving to be a replacement to that existing inefficient system. According to Crypto 51, which tracks the theoretical cost of 51% attacks on blockchain networks, it would currently cost $703,000 an hour to gather enough computing power to take over Bitcoin's ledger. To me, that's not a lot when you're talking governments, by the way. I think we're literally printing $1 million an hour right now. So that's not a lot. That's just the American government. XRP cannot be mined and relies on an entirely different protocol to achieve consensus. Instead, Ripple controls a list of recommended validators that are trusted to process transactions. Ripple says it one day plans to remove its control over the list, which has fueled accusations that XRP ledger is centralized. Big time right there. Chris Larsen, they're going to remove control over all of it. And I think this is where they're going to go to a thing like PolySci or standard custody.io, right, with those custody chains where they're going to hold your crypto and act like a bank. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to move it over, so therefore XRP is not security. They detach themselves. They go off to their IPO. We all get rich. That's just my personal opinion. Larsen says Ripple decided to pivot to an enterprise-focused company early on, and Swift remains its primary target. I think we started out as kind of a consumer-based company. We quickly saw, though, that to really have maximum impact, being an enterprise company that worked with existing financial partners and new challenges to the financial system was going to be much more successful because these were organizations that already had hundreds of millions of customers and had this fundamental problem. In many ways, maybe 80% of what they were doing was just fine, did not have to change. What did I just say? In many ways, maybe 80% of what they're doing was just fine. Did not have to change. Okay, I did read that right. But there was this one key component of cross-border payments which was fundamentally broken because they were dependent on a system that was built in the 70s. When Trump says there's a 40-year-old system, he's talking about SWIFT right there. Every time a 40-year-old system, SWIFT was built in the 70s. It's almost a 50-year-old system now. And this acrimonious SWIFT correspondent banking system was just a nightmare. So there you go, right there, guys. This is this came out this morning. XRP can replace cross-border behemoth SWIFT, says Chris Larsen. I agree with you, and I think they're already doing it. Let's dive into the next story. Speaking of partners, in-depth finality, the group blockchain payment system backed by NASDAQ, 14 global banks. This is by Nikki Morris from ledgerinsights.com. This is a couple days ago, but I just came across this yesterday morning. I think I forgot who tweeted this out. I know for sure I saw it on Bearable Bull, but I think someone else actually tweeted this out, and I don't remember who. So these, by the way, are all, I'm not going to dive too much into this, but these are all Ripple partners. Just going to point that out. So there's some big news here, and it says some, including BIS, classify the Finality International is building as a wholesale stablecoin alongside JP Coin. We spoke to two executives at Finality, the company behind the enterprise blockchain project formerly known as Utility Settlement Coin, and both resisted the stablecoin label. Backed by 15 financial institutions, Finality sees itself as a financial market infrastructure designed on-chain payments. With tokenization in full swing, executive payments in traditional ways slow things down, introduces settlement risk, and eats into the advantages of blockchain. An on-chain digital currency enables instant settlement with finality or delivery versus payments. Let's see here. It also talks to JPM coin, which, by the way, is the reason that they're now accepting Bitcoin. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, they had the JPM coin for a while. We've been talking about that for a while. Here's go. Waiting for the green light. Finality has been a long time in the making, and the original consortium initiated by UBS and technology startup Clearmatics back in 2016. The hold-up is the central bank approved process that Finality is going through in the UK, US, Europe, Canada, and Japan for the 5 respective currencies, which is interesting because I talked about the SDR and the stablecoin back when I talked about the big plan. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you check that out, right? I talk about those 5 banks because those are directly connected to the IMF. I think that's interesting, right? Talking to Olaf Ronsom, Industry Solutions Advisor at Finality, he's hopeful that it might get its first central bank approval in the 3rd quarter of this year. He's not sure which may go first, but it's likely to be pound, dollar, or euro. So 3 out of the 5, one of those will be first. If 3 central banks give the green light in a short period of time, Ronsom says they have to implement one at a time, and despite having raised 50 million Series A, that is not enough to get all 5 currencies live. They will be an independent operating company for each jurisdiction as well as separate blockchains for each currency. So it goes into more use cases, settle securities, liquidity, savings mechanisms. I'll put this link below. I just wanted to start that because this is a much longer article than I choose to read at this time. So I'll put the article below. You can dig more into it. Let's move on to the next story. I'll try not to make this a crazy long video because I want to get to the debt jubilee at the end. So here, this is from the Daily Hodl. Another one. Daily Hodl was coming through with some XRP stuff. This is by the staff. Enterprise adoption of Ripple and XRP for cross-border payments on the rise, says Australian exchange BTC Markets. It says an increasing number of companies are now utilizing Ripple and XRP to send money across borders, according to Australia's leading crypto exchanges, BTC Markets. The exchange partnered with Ripple in late 2019, making the first application for the company's crypto-based remittance platform, on-demand liquidity, which facilitates cross-border transactions using XRP. BTC Market CEO Carolyn Bowler says the partnership has created a new source of trading volume on its exchanges. So now we have those 2 exchanges, 3 exchanges, 4 exchanges, 5 exchanges becoming pretty big where they're becoming XRP based. Companies are using the asset to make more effective cross-border payments. Yeah, they move it from USD to XRP exchange to the Mexican peso, USD to an Australian exchange to the Australian dollar, USD to another exchange to the Filipino peso, guys. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening, man. It's happening. I tell people patience. I got a lot of guys, a lot of people I talk to in some other groups, right? Some bigger groups, right, that deal with cryptocurrency. And I get a lot of flack for being an XRP guy. I really do. And they go, XRP is doing all these things, but where's the price, right? And I think the point is you don't understand how it works, right? You just look at the price and it's a distraction. And that's nice and all. You can have, even if you own 100 BTC right now, that's nice. We'll see where that goes in 2025. I think it's important to understand, guys, this is a patience game. Patience. Rome was not built in a day, but it was built with one stone at a time. And I think it's just important. People just want things to happen overnight. Would you take that same step if it was the stock market? No. And you got to think of this is a company trying to take over all the money. And if they launch too soon, they would fail. You take your time. You give a chance for the people to get their, the institutions to buy it at a low price. And then you move forward. Because right now, we see here the amazing thing about ODL is that businesses using XRP for faster and cheaper cross-border payments are driving volume through our exchange, which is unique in the crypto markets. It fits our business model seamlessly and gives us a huge competitive edge. What's this last one say? Although Ripple does not release data on the exact transaction value moving through ODL, the Mexican-based crypto exchange Ripple partner Bitso recently billed between April 2019 and 2020, that's a year, it transferred $179 million in remittance powered by XRP. Guys, this is a big deal, man. I'm telling you guys, just have patience. Just have patience. Speaking of patience, MoneyGram is on the move again. MoneyGram Federal Bank partnered to expand account deposit capabilities. We guys know I talked about MoneyGram and XRP in a previous post how it looked like, based on the SEC forms, that Ripple Labs bought some of part of MoneyGram, bought into it or owns part of it. That's what it looks like to me. MoneyGram Payment Systems has entered a strategic partnership with the Federal Banking Limited, a leading private sector in India, to offer cost-effective direct bank account credit option for customers in India. The partnership will help millions in receiving deposits directly in their bank accounts without the need to step up from their homes and stay safe during the crisis. It says here, Federal Bank is known throughout India as a pioneer in digitalizing financial services, and we're proud to partner with them to enable millions of people that the option to receive money directly to their bank account. Oh, doesn't that sound familiar? Don't you hear President Trump right now saying, the Democrats wanted to mail them all their checks and give it to the states. I want to give it directly to... He didn't say it like that, but he says, I want to give it directly to the people. President Trump wants to give the money directly to us. Guys, that's a huge, huge thing. We saw Swift is from the 70s. It's old. They want to... How many of you guys still pick up a newspaper and read it? Let me guess. How many of you guys still send Morse code? How many of you guys have a house phone? I have a house phone. I do. And that's for multiple reasons. But in reality, that's not normal. The cable companies make it cheap if you have internet, cable, and a house phone. It's actually cheaper than having cable and internet. So why not just get a house phone? Because they're trying to keep it going. And, if you have a security system, you probably have a house phone too. But how many have a house phone that you use? Let me do that. Because I don't have a house phone that I use. How many people do the internet on their phone? How many people still have dial-up internet? Right? Like, you don't even have... How many people's computer is the size of your television? Or how many people have a computer that takes up a whole room anymore, like they did in the 70s with the IBM machines? I got a question for you. How many people still drive a car that doesn't have a radio? How many people drive a car where you manually roll your windows down? Right? How many people, let's see, let me think of another one. Can you guys think of another one? How many people, I don't know. I can't think of more. How many people still go to Blockbuster? Right? You got to think about it. Amazon took over because of this. Because people didn't want to get on board. And I think this is what's going on with XRP. Right? That's what we see in the work. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I ran out of examples. Speaking of examples, I just forgot why this is on here. Speaking of MoneyGram and Easy, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. So if you made it this far, hit the like button right now and comment right now if you made it this far in the video. I know I'm 18 minutes in, but I forgot to say 50 comments equals 50 XRP to a random winner. Keep that in mind every single video. Starting this past Tuesday, moving forward, every video that gets 50 comments, I give out 50 XRP. Please like the button, subscribe. I also have given out a Nano Ledger S. The guy has still yet to claim it, who commented on that video. So on Monday, if he hasn't, I will give out another one. So watch Monday's video for the Ledger Nano S giveaway, okay? So hit the like button, subscribe right now, share this, comment, get people to comment, man. Come on, help out a brother, support the channel. I appreciate all of you. So anyway, off of my rant, it says, according to the World Bank, India is the first world's top recipient of remittances, and has received over 82 billion in remittances in 2019. I say that word funny. Federal Bank has a market share of more than 15% of the remittance market in India, and its partnership with MoneyGram is expected to provide a further boost to businesses. We are pleased to announce our Ruby remittance tie-up with MoneyGram. Non-resident Indians can now enjoy a modern, low-cost, fast, easy, and more reliable way of transferring money to India. At Federal Bank, we believe in digital at the fore, human at the core. The tie-up with MoneyGram is yet another example of how bank has used innovative technology to deliver superior customer experience. Being a leading player in the remittance and non-resident space, we are confident that this tie-up with MoneyGram will provide huge benefits to customers, says Shalini Rohner, Executive Director of Federal Bank. There you go, guys. Another big news that is this morning, literally hot off the press. All right, let's jump into the next. This is from yesterday. Standard Chartered claims first yuan base letter of credit issued on the blockchain. This is pretty cool. They're a XRP partner, so I just wanted to read this to you. I'm not going to read the whole article. It's short, but I just want to read just to kind of show you the news here. It says, Standard Chartered says it has issued the first blockchain-based international letter of credit transactions using China's national currency, the yuan. That's big. Just going to point that out. Let's see here. That's all I want to say there. I just want to show you that news. Okay, on to the next one. SBI plans to utilize Ripple Payments Network to consolidate ATM access in Japan. This is another daily huddle from yesterday written by the staff. It says, Ripple partner SBI Holdings says it plans to use Ripple's payment technology to make it easier for people in Japan to access ATMs. In its latest yearly financial results report, the financial services company says it's working to integrate its Ripple-powered settlements app, MoneyTap, with ATMs run. Let me zoom in for you guys. I can't zoom in. Runs by various banks across borders, across the country. The move will make it easier for users to access their funds at any ATM. Currently, bottom line, the banks themselves reduce operating costs. I've said that from the beginning. If the banks want to jump on board right now the banks are what they are. They make money off people's debt, but they still try to save money themselves, right? So if they can still charge you, instead of charging you, say, $20 a transfer, right? Well, I guess we're never going to lose the dollar for the ATM type thing, right? I don't think that's ever going to go away, those kind of charges, but they get charged less. So instead of them getting charged 20 cents when they charge us $1, now they'll charge us 75 cents and get charged 1 penny, right? So their ROI increases massively. We save money, they still make money, we're all happy. And that is the bottom line for banks themselves by reducing costs. Currently, each bank has an ATM with its own bank app, but with the common web app. The same ATM may be used as its own jointly operated multi-bank ATM. SBI aims to roll out MoneyTap to a banking consortium that led by SBI's Ripple Asia. The consortium currently has 61 banks representing about 80% of all banking assets. That's pretty big, right? In September last year, SBI's holding president Yoshikataka Kiito was quoted, I suck at saying names, quoted as saying that the app, which is fully licensed by Japanese regulators, would utilize Ripple's native currency XRP in the future. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. However, the company has yet to officially confirm any plans to integrate the digital asset in the app, but they're going to. MoneyTap launched in 2019 and allows people to send and receive money instantly for the phone and QR codes. It is on iOS and Android. So, pretty news day. All right, so now, what do you guys think before I move into this last story? Excuse me, drink some coffee there. Some last story of the day. And it's a combination of two different articles. And this will probably take up the next 10 minutes. And I will keep this under 45 minutes today. So we only got a little bit left. But tell me what you think, because those are our XRP partners today, referring to cross-border payments. All that has to do with this article about, this announcement, XRP's role in solving problems with cross-border payments and a perfect use case will drive basically this part right here, okay? That role in solving problems with cross-border payments is a perfect use case that will drive growth. And we see that, okay? Cross-border payment right there. These guys, Finality, will be involved in cross-border payments. Daily hold adoption for cross-border payments. MoneyGram, cross-border payments. Standard Chartered claims first base letter of credit issued on the blockchain. Now, that's important for cross-border payments in a sense, right? Not directly in this per se. Utilizing network in Japan, but you're seeing that these are using ATM's payment technology, which will be eventually in cross-border payments. So let me know what you guys think there. Make sure to write in the comments, and if you haven't joined the Telegram group so far, go ahead and jump on that. Or write me at New Creation Cat. Let me know what you say. I got to check these notifications. I'll check that towards the end here and see who wrote here and do that. So, all right, so let's talk this debt jubilee thing. This is on Yahoo Finance here. I got two articles on this. One from Reuters, however you say it. And this is Bernie Sanders and Ilhan Omar lead call for World Bank IMF debt cancellation. Now, I talked about debt cancellation prior to this, and I did it in a podcast. Let's see, this is back here, man, where the IMF director herself, right here, episode 29, IMF debt cancellation, New World Order, XRP News, right? I talked about this on April 22nd, so we're talking 3-4 weeks later. Now you got the far left progressive liberals calling for IMF debt cancellation, basically, which is crazy that they're using the IMF debt cancellation. I don't know. I think this one's short, and I'll dive in more. This is interesting to me, but it says Senator Bernie Adams, a representative of Ilhan Omar, led a group of lawmakers from 24 countries calling for the International Monetary Fund and World Bank to forgive the debt of the world's poorest countries and step up their support. Now, they're kind of already doing that. The debt payment standstill announced last month by the Group of 20 won't be enough to allow countries to deal with the crisis, the lawmakers, including the UK's Jeremy Corbyn, said in a letter Wednesday. Fitch Ratings last month warned that multilateral development banks could see their credit ratings suffer if they let the poorest nations suspend sovereign debt payments. I'm not going to go into my whole one world order thing here. I talk about that in that episode there. What was it? Episode 22, I said? Or April 22nd. One of those. Hold on, let's look again. So we make sure. Episode 29 on April 22nd. New World Order. Like, that's kind of what this leads to. I'm not going to talk about it in this episode, but it's definitely a one world currency move step here and a one world order step here. The lawmakers also urged the IMF to create trillions of dollars in reserve assets called special drawing rights, which we've talked about, a move opposed by the Trump administration. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said last month that the fund is well capitalized for the next months, but won't discard the possibility of creating more reserve assets if needed, more resources in the future. The steps are the very least that these financial institutions should do to prevent an unimaginable increase in poverty, hunger, disease. So they're pushing this for feed the poor. That's what they say. I'm not going to go into this right now. I'm definitely not going to go into this right now. But the lawmakers call the IMF and the World Bank to respond in 15 days. If you want to hear me dive into this, go click on this episode right here. I dive into that. You know I do long episodes. And so I definitely dive into that. I don't think I dive into that any more than that. I mean, I do talk about here the IMF and the stable coin. I definitely speak about that, which actually goes along with the Trace Act. Kind of all of these things are actually connected, which is crazy to me. If we go to the next article here, and this is on Roto-Reuters, written by Andrea Shaw, it says that over 300 lawmakers urged the IMF, World Bank to cancel poor countries. Now, what's crazy here is I think it said by the group of 20. Hold on, let's look this up. This is interesting. I know I'm adding to it. But the group of 20 is the global governance three. Let's look into this. The G20 is an international form of governance and central banks around the country. So the group of 20 is called G20, an international group. Let's see who is in this specifically. I know it tells us. Here we go. Australia, Canada, Saudi Arabia, United States, India, Russia, South Africa, Turkey, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, South Korea, Indonesia, Japan, and China. Those are the group of 20 right there. They don't have a permanent secretary of staff. The group chair rotates. They have organized meetings, and I won't go into that deep, but those are your group of 20, so if you're curious who they are. And let's see here. It doesn't mention how many people. It just says Bernie Sanders and Omar lead the call. But we see over here 300 lawmakers from around the world Wednesday urged the International Monetary Fund and World Bank to cancel the debt of the poorest countries, right? So let's see here. The appeal came in a letter delivered to the heads of the World Bank, the IMF here, as well as the U.S. President Donald Trump. So let's just click on here. Now they're out. Well, before I go, the virus has infected more. 0.42 I wonder how much. 4.2 million globally and killed 287,000. I wonder what the percentage on that is. Let me check real quick. I'm gonna check. Sorry for all that noise. We're gonna check. We're gonna say, what is it? Do I divide? What 287,349 divided by 4.2? Is that 4.2 million? Right? That says 6%. I wonder if that's true. 6%? Is that about? Does that sound right? I don't know. Well, hold on. What's 10%? No, that's not right. Because 10% is 10% of 4.2 million is what? 42,000? 420,000. Okay, that's right. Yep. Okay, so 6%. So widespread former candidate Bernie Sanders, who led initiative along with Representative Democrat from Minnesota, said the poor countries need every cent to care for their people. You find it interesting. They're so worried about all the other countries, specifically countries that, I don't know. It's just sketchy. Definitely because they want to use the World Bank, IMF to do that. Now, I understand that's good for our pockets, but I think this is horrible for the world. I think, now I'm not saying it's like something like open borders, which creates one world, one order, one government, one religion. You guys right now are all talking about freedoms. A lot of people talking about they want their freedom, right? But when you go to a one world system, you don't have freedom. You don't. You think you do. And I think it's a perfect example right now. Like LA is locked down till July, but they opened just enough, like the beaches for you, just enough to satisfy you guys. And that's Bitcoin, in my opinion. They give you just enough to shut you up while they make real money on the other side. And I just think it's so important, guys, for you to open your eyes and see what's going on, man. You know, I voted for one party for so long because I thought I was supposed to, based on my age, maybe my skin color, maybe my education. I went to certain types of colleges that gave me a certain liberal outlook. And now that I've dug in to done my research, man, I will never vote for that party again, ever again, because I know what the base of their party is. That's because I stopped watching CNN and stopped watching MSNBC and these liberal stations and mass media stations, and I realized, God, they just lie to you. They really lie to you. They push an agenda. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm going to live stream and talk about that one day. I think I'm going to talk about the Federal Reserve next live stream with some TA. But guys, I just do your own research, man. Stop listening to the major four mass media things. I mean, I thought I'd never watch a certain news station in my life. And now that's literally the only news station I watch because they at least give me the closest thing to the truth. They don't push their agenda despite what their beliefs are, right? I think you see that so much with these guys. Perfect example here, they pushed out Bernie Sanders. The Democrats pushed out Bernie Sanders because they didn't want him, because he didn't fit their model. So they did this whole little election coup, in a sense, and put Joe Biden, who can't even complete a sentence. I'm not going to go into that, man. That's going to get me started. Anyway, the World Bank will still look its ways to expand its support to the poorest countries, but waived warning debts could harm its credit rating and undercut its provide low funding to members. Here we go. An issuance in FDRs on the order of trillions of dollars required to avert major increases in poverty, hunger, and diseases. So that's the reason they do it. An SDR allocation is akin to central bank printing new money and does not trigger big costs, but has been opposed by the United States. I think it's interesting that it's opposed by the United States because according to the IMF, the SDR runs based on the U.S. dollar. So maybe it's if we go SDR, the U.S. dollar's power goes away. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that more. I think that's interesting. But they're using debt cancellation for poor people when half of our country is poor right now. When I say half of the country, maybe they're not poor as far as, third world country poor. Because some people can't pay their rent, but they have a $1,000 iPhone in their pocket. But I mean poor as in they got to work 50 hours a week to make a living to pay for that $1,000 iPhone in their pocket. I think when I heard a stat along the lines of when this kicked in, and I don't know if this stat is true, but that the majority of the country didn't have $400 in their savings account. To me, that means you're living above your means. But that all has to do a lot like, living in a city like New York or LA or Chicago where a studio apartment costs $900 to $1,200 a month if you want to live in a neighborhood where you're not getting shot at every day. So I think we need to step in and see our own country's issues before solving the world's. And I think it's important because if we work on the world's country but don't work world issues but not ours, we see things like our education going from a top 5 education platform for our kids in the country, in the world, to now we're in the 30s for education, guys. Like, our society is so dumbed down right now that you can say squirrel, or here's a UFO, or here's an FBI release about 9/11. Like, come on, guys. Like, distractions, man. It's all a distraction. Americans that are not educated on mass media manipulation, I think it's important to understand the idea of distraction. That's how a magician works. They make you look with their right hand while they're doing stuff with the left hand. And that's how everything goes down. And I think it's important to really look into that, guys, and educate yourselves. And I don't mean to go on a rant here. You know what? If you disagree with me, write in the comments. I don't care what you write in the comments right now. If you disagree, if you agree, what do you think people should do? Again, 50 comments. I'm going to give 50 XRP if we hit 50 comments. So let me know what you think, man. Hit the like button. If you don't like it, don't share it. Don't hit the like button. But let me know. I know this will probably get a few views, but I'm not in it for the massive amount of views. I'm in it for getting the knowledge out there, guys. When we go one, we go all. So it's important to read and understand and stay away from, I went to some major, I went to some pretty big universities that are liberal, right? I also went to, when I went to my higher education, that was very liberal, and they were just teaching me things that were not true. They were building me towards a foundation to get their long-term agenda in, which they've been doing now for 30, 40 years. So that's why our education system has gone to crap as far as high school and lower. We have the best resources. We are the richest country in the world. But for some reason, we've got kids that still can't read here. And we're worried about getting kids in other countries when we got kids here are poor, man. It's an agenda place to open the borders and all this other stuff. Guys, just read. Do your own research, man, for sure. Do your own research for sure. By the way, this is the letter here to the president, Malpass, and managing director, Georgieva. Right here, and you see here, by the way, this is her DC address. They both have addresses here in the States, and I'm not going to go over the old letter, but we can see here that Bernie Sanders and Ilhan Omar wrote the letter. So, and by the way, you can see everyone who signed it here. So, that is the end of this episode. Let me dive in real quick, and I'm going to read a scripture before I go into the market dive, okay? So, it says here, this is from Second Theologians, chapter 2, verse 16, into chapter 3. And it says, May our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us by his grace, give us eternal encouragement and good hope. Encourage your hearts and strengthen you in every good deed and word. As for other matters, brothers and sisters, Pray for us that the message of the Lord may spread rapidly and be honored, just as it is with you. And pray that we may be delivered from wicked and evil people, for not everyone has faith, but the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. We have confidence in the Lord that you are doing and will continue to do the things that he commands. May the Lord direct your hearts into God's love and Christ's perseverance. So, as you guys all know, this is a base channel based on a new you, a new creation, a new future, right? And what I mean by that is a new you because Christ is in you, who gives you a new creation, which gives you a new future, a heavenly future, eternal life, and life abundantly. So I think it's so important to understand that. That's the base of this. We do Sunday scriptures, and I go more dive into the good news of Jesus Christ and the gospel. And that's what I do on Sundays. So that is the base of this channel. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And for all of you that are out there on the same page as me, God be with you. Those who are not yet, that is okay. The Holy Spirit will call you when the time is ready. The time is ready. And the time is now for you to act, by the way. But I cannot make that call. So before we go, let's dive into the last charts here. The market is now open. And let's see what is going on in the market at this moment. It says here, Dow Industrials gets 200 points at open amid pandemic-era jobless claims. Hit 36.5 million. Whoa. Down 1.21%, sitting at 22,966. The S&P is down 1%, sitting at 2788. The NASDAQ is down 0.93%, sitting at 8781. Gold is up 0.83%, sitting at 1730. Oil is up 3.12, sitting at 3.08, sitting at 2607. So, yeah, that's going on there. Let's see what's going on in the crypto market right now. Oh, BTC is still at 96.08, ETH at 201, XRP at 20.3. So before I go, let's check out, make sure you guys hit the YouTube channel, hit the likes, comment, join the Telegram group, man. I'm going to show you what the Telegram group is now. As that loads, let's see. It says, but seriously, regardless of your ideology, religion, convictions, of worldview, this video has a great message. Thank you, but seriously, man. And this is the messenger of Satan. This is my Sunday scripture right here. So let's see here. Oh, shout out to the new subscriber. We got Scott Davidson, Close Gino. There's but seriously. So thank you guys for being the new subscribers. Shout out to you for sure. But here's my messenger of Satan one, man. It's only got 33 views. And again, it's just a message. Go listen to this. If you want to know the gist of some of the scriptures, man, we go over 2 Corinthians 12:7, messenger of Satan. That's what all that is about. And a thorn in your side, okay? We did the live stream yesterday, but this is the first one. You can go through, click here, talking about robots and the Trace Act, by the way, which is crazy because it's HR 6666. All right, so the Telegram group here, by the way, are the cronies right here. 37 members. We are growing, and right here we talk directly about XRP and FUD and BTC and charts. Of course, we talk Jesus Christ in here as well. And those who just don't want to come maybe for the Christian aspect of it, you can come for the charts because we definitely, let me see here if I can find the files, the photos that are shared. We definitely, as you can see here, we definitely talk charts. We break things down. I'm teaching the basics of trading, so you can see that. We even have Ryan who put up some nice little video here. Oh, that's actually my trading indicators. So we do talk that, and of course we talk Christ as well. So if you want to come from the trading, come for the trading. You want to talk for a group in the crypto that talk Christ, crypto and Christ, that's a good, you know what, that's a good live stream, crypto and Christ. Maybe I will start that. Comment, let me know if you think I should start crypto and Christ. Okay, so I said I'll keep it under 45 minutes. That is 45 minutes of this now, and excluding the intro and the outro. So guys, we will close it up. Thank you for all those who hit me up on New Creation Cap. Oh, I have to check the notifications. I said I would do this too. Let's see what kind of notifications we have. Shout out to MTG Crypto, like the retweet. Bitcoin for beginners. Someone shot me FX suit, so we'll have to check that out. Someone shot me a little tweet there, and then some likes and some comments. So thank you to shout out to you guys. Appreciate it. So again, that is New Creation Cap is my Twitter. And this is your boy Christian Israel, and you are tuned into the New Creation Capital Podcast, a place where we discuss what happens in the world today, where we focus on stories and current events, the stock market, and digital assets, guys. This is the end of episode 48, where we go one, we go all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a new you, a new future, and a new creation. Until next time, guys, peace and love. Later.
Let's just follow a $100 check. Make this real simple to the fellow that delivers our mail. The postal worker gets a $100 check. And he looks at this and he can't imagine in his wildest dreams that just 2 days ago that money didn't exist anywhere in the universe. But it's a government check now, and it's very spendable. So he takes it and deposits it into his private checking account at the local commercial bank. Now this money is out of the Federal Reserve mechanism per se, out of the government side of the partnership, and it gets into the private banking side of the partnership. $100 has been deposited, and now the action heats up. The banker looks at that and he goes over to the loan window and he opens it up and he says, "Attention everybody, we have money to loan." And that's good news for a lot of people, because that's one of the reasons we go to the bank, isn't it? To borrow money. So it's good news when there's money available. And the banker says, "We have $100 deposited, but don't worry folks, we can loan you more than that. We can loan you up to $900. Well, how? How can you loan out up to $900 when you only have $100 deposited? Well, it's not difficult if you're in the Federal Reserve System. Here's how it works. The Federal Reserve says that the member banks must keep no less than 10% of their deposits in reserve. So there's $100. They keep 10% in reserve, $10. And they can loan up to $90, right? So we loan it to you, ma'am. You borrowed $90. What do you do with it? Well, you want to spend it. So you want to write a check on it. You deposit it into your checking account so you can write a check. In many cases, it might be put directly into your checking account. But now there's $90 deposit, in addition to the $100 that was deposited to start this chain. Now we've got the $90 that was loaned as another deposit. Well, the Federal Reserve says that you only have to keep 10%. So we keep 10% of the 90 and loan the other 90%. And the person that borrows that puts it right back into the bank as another deposit. Well, the Federal Reserve says you only have to keep 10%, so you know, this goes around and around and around to the revolving door until finally the whole action is played out. And the bottom line is, when that $100 deposit comes in from the postal worker, the banks in essence can loan up to $900 because $100 is the reserve, and that's 10% of 1,000, so they can loan the balance or the difference, which is $900. Now, where does that money come from? Well, same place. It springs into being precisely at the point where the loan is made. It didn't exist before, anywhere. Now, notice the important thing here. The money that's created out of nothing and given to the government spends for its purposes. But the money that's created out of nothing by the banks is not spent by the banks. It's loaned by the banks to you and to me, and we pay interest on it. Not too shabby. Interest on nothing. I wish I had a magic checkbook like that, where I didn't have to have any money, just a checkbook. And I could write checks, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 all day long and loan them to you folks, and you pay me interest on it. You see? Not too shabby at all. This, in fact, is the payoff to the commercial banks in the cartel. This scam has become legitimized by law, and we're told it's a wonderful thing. We think our banking system is wonderful. but it's a scam.